I want to talk about something today that I think a lot of women feel, but don't always say out loud. Somewhere along the way, a woman's life started getting measured by milestones. Are you married yet? Do you have a partner? Do you have kids? Do you want them? Are you going to? When? If you are married, when are you going to have kids? And if you don't have those things yet, like me, or if you're not sure you want them, it can feel like you're behind or like you're missing something. Tends to give you this feeling of lack. I'm almost 35 and I've been hearing these questions for far longer than I'd like to even admit. Today I realized how tired I am of the idea that a woman's value is tied to her relationship or motherhood. So this episode is for the women who feel behind or lost, like life didn't follow the timeline they were told it should, because your life is not on hold while you're becoming yourself. I do want to clarify that this isn't an anti-marriage or anti-motherhood space. Those things can be beautiful and meaningful. This is about expanding the conversations so women aren't reduced to only those roles. I feel like many of us can relate to this. How many times have you heard the question, do you have a boyfriend yet? When are you settling down? Don't you want kids? You better hurry up. You're getting up there. You're getting up there in age. I feel like it starts way too early. Like, I know as a kid, there were people like, oh, do you have a little boyfriend yet? Do you have a little girlfriend yet? And it's just like, no, it starts really early. I feel like the conditioning of feeling like we need to be tied to another person. And it just, when you hear it over and over and over, it just feels like, or it can make you think, wait, am I not enough just as myself? Is my life not worth anything? Does it not have value if I'm not tied to another human being? And I do want to preface that no one asks men these same questions with the same urgency. And another piece is that I feel like not enough people understand the internal pressure that a lot of us already feel. I know I do. And I know I'm not the only one, because about 42% of women without children say they felt societal pressure to have kids, compared to 27% of men. Women report feeling pressure not just from family, but society, friends, and cultural expectations. Women don't need extra pressure. Most of us are already asking ourselves these questions internally. And it's 2026. Like, why is this still the main conversation? Why is this still the main topic that is being brought up to women? Why? We are so much more than that. We are so much more than just those things. Even if you have children and you are married, you are so much more than just a wife, just a mother. You are a woman. We are magical and powerful, and we truly are just amazing beings. To the point where, because it is 2026, less than half of US households are married couples today. About 47%, which is down from 66% in the 1970s. And the average age of first marriage for people has increased to around 28 for women, meaning many women are still building their lives well into their 30s. And many women now see relationships as optional rather than required for fulfillment, because we have awoken, okay? The divine feminine is 1000% awake. We're all feeling it. We're all getting to that point. We're all understanding more about ourselves. We're understanding that your 20s are your first time, like your first step into adulthood. You're basically a child or a baby adult. Like, then your 30s, I feel, as for myself and so many other people I've talked to, you're finally learning to reconnect with who you are. I feel like a lot of us, either you did get to have fun and like enjoy and be free in your 20s, or I personally gave myself just two relationships. I was like, I need to find a partner. I had all this drilled in my brain. I was so just pressured into thinking that I wasn't enough on my own. I will get into more of my personal journey of how my own little spiritual awakening. I don't know why I said little. That wasn't that little. In a different episode in more detail. But for right now, I just had a rough day and I was like, how can I turn this around? I've been wanting to do this podcast forever. I kept talking about it. I was working on a different type of segment and something wasn't fitting right. And today I was like, you know what always makes me feel better? Helping someone else. And I've come such a long way to finding my voice and reclaiming my power with my voice. And that is why I want to do this podcast. And I want to encourage other people to embrace your strength, embrace vulnerability, embrace being open, embrace supporting other women in your life and other people, whether or not you agree with their choices and their decisions, whether or not you understand them. We all just, love is the answer. I know, like, people are going to roll their eyes at that or feel like that's corny, but it really is. And so, with this change of how we view relationships now and how us as women are kind of trying to find ourselves more before we get settled down, the timeline changed, but the expectations didn't. So as we're getting older and some of us are still not married, some of us are still trying to figure this out. Dating in 2026 is something that most people that are married they can't even comprehend. I can't even comprehend as someone who's like in it. I have my thoughts on that too, but maybe I'll save that for a specific dating episode. And I just have a few little reminders that I would like to share with you guys. You can feel lost and still be growing. That one is so true. And I personally need that reminder very often because as I'm navigating my own life and continuing to curate what I want that to not only look like, but feel like. There's not a blueprint for that. Like when you're paving your own way, I feel like it does take longer to maybe reach where you think you should be or where you want to be because you can look at it like that. Like this is how I view it in my brain. Here's your two paths. Here's where everyone else is kind of going. And that's okay. There's something, we're not shaming them, right? People need to go that way. But some of us are meant to be and go on a different path. And this way, where everyone else is going, everyone else is there. It's clear. The the road is clear. You can just walk on through, like mosey on by, be distracted, it's all settled there. When you're building your own path and you're going this way, you have to clear the brush. You have to do the work internally because that our work inside changes our world outside. Our view, how we feel in the world, all of stuff like that. And so when you're building your own path, it's going to feel harder. You're going to feel more resistance. But I think that that is what we should use to keep us going, to give you momentum. You do need to remember to sit down and just take a breather for a minute. Throw your hands up. I love doing that. Sometimes if I just feel overwhelmed, I will just boop, throw my hands up and be like, I'm done. I give up. I let go. I let go of the feeling of needing to be in control. That's really hard, but I do. Throwing your hands up, I feel like works very well. It's very helpful. Another one is you can want partnership without making it your identity. That was something I think I unintentionally did. I kind of was like always waiting for, or whoever I was dating, I just kind of made them my main focus. Over the last 6 years, I've very much decentered men and everyone else from my life. I am still working on getting comfortable with me being at the center of my world, as we should be. We should all be the center of our own world and then have our little people that we check in on and that we support all around us. But you should be your main priority because the more that you take care of yourself and you pour into yourself and you make sure that you're filling your cup, the better you're able to love, support, and care for your friends, if you are in a relationship, your partner, your children, your pets, because I'm a human. Also, remind yourself that you're human. We are women and we are superheroes and we are resilient and we are strong and we are intelligent and we are all the things. But we are also human. And whether you want children or don't want them, it does not define your worth. You are worthy all on your own. And a woman's life has seasons beyond romance and motherhood. Because even if when you find those things, I know people that are happily married, happily have children, and they're still like, what am I doing with my life? Like, what do I want? And that's a question I hope I invite more people to ask themselves. What is it that you want from your life? And it can change and it will change the older that you get, the more that your life changes, the more that things evolve. Learning to be flexible and to grow with yourself. That's also why I think finding a partner for me is so pivotal because I am definitely a lifelong learner. That was something that my therapist had brought up to me and I never thought of it like that, but the best teachers are people who love to learn. And a lot of us as women, we go through different seasons. We are changing. We have cycles. We are a different person every week of the month, or however long your cycles are. Like we have a different experience each time. And then through each chapter of our lives, our hormones change, our biology changes. Like we're always growing and evolving. And you can either be scared of that, you can either have resentment towards that, or you can learn to say, you know what? This is pretty badass. I can take control of this in my mind and connect it to my body in a way to utilize that energy and that force of change to grow with you in your life. So hopefully you have people in your life that are able to grow with you, or even just at least be accepting of your growth and your change. So I just want to say that you're not late. You're just living a life that isn't following someone else's script. And if there's anyone in their 20s, their 30s, their teens, their whatever, your 20s and 30s are really about learning yourself. And I know I mentioned that a little bit ago, but it really is. It's about learning who you are. Usually we step away from living with our parents. We are entering college or entering the workforce, going and traveling the world, like whatever your journey is, you're getting married and having children young. I know a lot of people that do that. They're very happy to do that. But it really is about learning yourself without someone else telling you something. It's a way to kind of go through our conditioning that we've taken on from our upbringing. And you can kind of make this time and take the space to figure out, is this something I want to hold on to moving forward going on in my life? Or is this something that, maybe it's not serving me or it's not serving where I want to go? And I have to learn to let this go. Those are things, that's what your 20s and 30s are for. Reconnecting with your inner teen that you probably shunned out a little bit because she was probably a little weird. But the weirdness is what makes you cool. Like being cringe is cool. I know people don't think it is, but it is. That is what makes you you. We need more authenticity in the world. We need more people being themselves and not just being a follower. And choosing yourself is never, ever a waste of time. I wish someone told me that when I was younger. Man, do I wish someone told me that. Like, choosing yourself is not a waste of time, and you can't lose when you choose yourself. And there's more to life than just a partnership. We need friendship. Like, women, we need each other. We need friendship. We need creativity. Personal growth is so important. What are you contributing to the world? What kind of person are you going to be? And a little piece too is inner peace, finding inner peace, being able to have a rooted heart and a root and a space within yourself that is peaceful that you can access when the world is chaotic. If whatever situation you're in feels chaotic or out of control, being able to find inner peace and have that space to go to is so important. And I do have a free guide that I made that I would love to gift to you guys. I will link it in the description or the bio, and I would love to know what you think about it and how it works for you. It's just a couple tips that everyone can use to hopefully create more inner peace. Another thing is not going into a relationship hoping that they fulfill you. That was something I did too because I didn't know any better. I didn't know. I just didn't know. And I feel like a lot of people also don't know. A relationship is not supposed to complete you. That's why it's important to develop who you are, know how you operate, what you like, what you don't like, what you're willing to compromise with, what you're not. Like knowing your deal breakers is so important. And again, I wish, I wish I heard this more when I was younger because you're not waiting for a role to be filled. You're waiting for someone to come into your life and add to it. Like what can you add to each other's lives? Can you make it better? Because a relationship or a child should add to a full life. It should not be the thing that creates one. And I love a reframe. So let's reframe the question. Are you married yet? Instead, maybe let's try to ask, are you happy? Are you growing? Do you feel like yourself? And I do want to remind you, it's okay to want partnership. It's okay to not know. And it's okay if your timeline looks different. If you needed this reminder today, let it land gently. Your life is not on hold and you are not behind. You are allowed to build a life that feels honest to you in the timing that's right for you. If this resonated, take what you need and let the rest settle in its own time. Your life is allowed to unfold differently. Thank you for spending this time with me, and we will see you for the next episode.